Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk could be the billionaires of today's world, but they do not match the wealth of the richest king to live in this world. Do you want to know more about the man who owned half of the Earth's gold? Born around 1280 AD, Mansa Musa ruled the vast Mali Empire in West Africa for a period of time. Mansa Musa, who became king in 1312 AD, is thought to have had an estimated fortune of almost $400 billion, which is still twice as much as that of Musk and Bezos. Being beyond the ruler of Wakanda, T'Challa, popularly referred to as Black Panther, is the wealthiest superhero in the vast fictional world of Marvel Comics. Even if billionaire CEOs are vying for the title of richest person living today, Mansa Musa, the richest person in history, has more in common with Marvel's first black superhero. His story starts when his predecessor, Abu Bakr II, disappeared during a sea voyage to find the Atlantic Ocean's edge. Musa took over as leader of the Mali Empire in 1312. While Europe struggled with resource shortages and internal conflicts, the Mali Empire thrived thanks to its rich supply of natural resources like salt and gold. Mansa Musa came from a lineage of kings when he was born in 1280. Mansa Abu Bakr, his brother, governed the empire until he abdicated in 1312 to embark on an expedition. Shihab al-Omari, a Syrian historian from the 14th century, claims that Abu Bakr was fascinated by the Atlantic Ocean and everything that lay on the other side. According to reports, he set off on an expedition carrying thousands of men, women, and slaves along with a fleet of 2,000 ships. They set sail, never to come back. Some entertain the theory that they made it to South America, such as the late American historian Ivan van Sertima. However, there isn't any proof of this. Whatever the case, the kingdom he left behind was inherited by Mansa Musa. And during Musa's reign, the thriving kingdom expanded to include a sizable area of West Africa, extending from the Atlantic coast to Timbuktu, the center of inland trade, and even into the Sahara Desert. During Musa's reign, the region expanded and so did the state of its population. The king grew wealthy, but his riches were a secret to the outside world. The immense wealth of the king was not revealed to the world outside of Mali's borders until 1324. In a neighborhood where Muslims predominate, Musa was a devoted Muslim who embarked on his Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. The king, however, did not journey alone. Musa led a caravan of tens of thousands of troops, slaves, and heralds who were dressed in Persian silk and held golden staff on the estimated 4,000-mile journey. The exact number of participants on this expedition is unknown, but hundreds of pounds of gold were marched with camels and horses in the elaborate convoy that preceded Musa. Then, the king arrived in Cairo. Upon his arrival, Musa's hesitation was evident in his meeting with al-Malik al-Nasser, the ruler of Cairo. Shihab al-Omari, an ancient historian, wrote that Musa was welcomed by a subordinate of al-Nasser, who invited him to meet the ruler. Musa declined, stating that he was just passing through on his way to Mecca. When Musa declined to kiss the Sultan's feet, the meeting became tense. It only became civilized when Musa chose to extend a formal greeting to al-Nasser. After the two men spoke, al-Nasser promised to host Musa and all of his companions, and Musa left a portion of his unbelievable wealth behind in Egypt. Mansa Musa made such a big impact in Cairo that even 12 years later, people were still talking about him. As noted by al-Omari, he gave out so much gold during his 3-month visit to Cairo that the price of the gold dropped for 10 years, causing a lot of problems for the economy. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage led to around $1.5 billion of economic losses across the Middle East because the value of gold went down. Musa's generosity in Egypt led to gold being scattered everywhere, from Cairo's markets to royal offices and even among the poor. Initially, people were happy about this. However, Musa's gifts caused Egypt's gold reserves to drop, hurting the economy badly. It took 12 years for the community to bounce back from this setback. Can you believe how a wealthy man's habit of gifting disrupted the economy? But Mansa Musa's journey wasn't just about giving. Along the way, he gained control of Gayo, a territory in the Songhai Kingdom, expanding his empire to the southern edge of the Sahara Desert along the Niger River. His empire stretched across several territories, including present-day Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Niger, Nigeria, Chad, and Mauritania, as well as Mali. Out of all these special places, Gao held special significance for the king. In today's Mali, he built one of many mosques after completing his Hajj. Timbuktu was also important, where he used his wealth to build schools, universities, libraries, and mosques. The Jinga River Mosque, built of mud, brick, and wood, remains active for over 500 years, a testament to his legacy. How did Musa revive the economy? Mansa Musa traveled through Egypt once more on his way home, and some claim he attempted to boost the economy of the nation by taking some gold out of circulation by returning it to Egyptian lenders at exorbitant interest rates. Some claim he ran out of gold because he spent too much. Musa's fame spread beyond Africa after his journey to Mecca. Without a doubt, Mansa Musa wasted a great deal of gold on his pilgrimage. However, the world was also drawn to this extreme generosity. Mansa Musa had very literally put himself and Mali on the map. An illustration of an African ruler sitting on a golden throne atop Timbuktu with a chunk of gold in his palm can be found in a 1375 Catalan Atlas map. Mansa Musa came back from Mecca with scholars, some of whom were descendants of the Prophet Muhammad. He also brought along Abu Ishaq is-Sahali, a poet and architect, to design the famous Jinga River Mosque. The king paid the poet 200 kilograms or 440 pounds in gold, worth $8.2 million today. Besides supporting arts and architecture, he funded literature and built schools, libraries, and mosques. Timbuktu became a hub of education, attracting people from all over the world to study at what later became known as Sankore University. When Mansa Musa died in 1337 at the age of 57, his sons inherited the empire but couldn't keep it together. The smaller states split off, leading to the empire's collapse. How much wealth did Musa have? His enormous amount of land and belongings were really hard to measure. Rudolf Bohr, who teaches history at the University of Michigan, said this man's wealth was just mind-blowing. He described a situation where you think about the most gold one person could have, then imagine having twice that much. That's what everyone means when they say this person is the richest ever known. Imagining so much wealth that it's almost impossible to believe. This makes Mansa Musa not just a figure in history books, but a legend whose wealth continues to awe and inspire us today. Let's try to compare this with the present world. According to Forbes, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, was the richest person in the world, with a fortune estimated at around $177 billion. To put it in perspective, that's more money than the GDP of 75% of countries around the world combined. Even though this wealth seems unimaginable, Mansa Musa, the Sultan of the Mali Empire, holds the title of the richest person in history. Mansa Musa's wealth was so immense that it's hard to comprehend. He distributed this gold generously to the poor along the way, crashing gold prices across North Africa and the Arabian Peninsula. Despite being born almost 750 years ago, Mansa Musa's legacy lives on. He transformed Timbuktu into a center of trade, culture, and learning, building landmarks like the Jinga River Mosque. His fortune is estimated at a whopping $400 billion, which no Jeff Bezos can ever match. Want to know the most fascinating fact about this king? Records show that when Mansa Musa traveled to Mecca in 1324 for the Hajj pilgrimage, his caravan was the biggest to ever travel the Sahara Desert in Africa. According to BBC sources, Mansa Musa allegedly journeyed to Mecca, Saudi Arabia with 100 camels, copious amounts of wealth, 12,000 servants, and 60,000 slaves. Historians and academics speculate that he may have brought up to 18 tons of gold, which is worth over $957 million for his Hajj. As a result of the king's popularity, individuals traveled from far and wide to catch a sight of Timbuktu, which turned into an African El Dorado. Due in large part to the adventures of Mansa Musa 5 centuries prior, it maintained its legendary reputation as a lost city of gold at the edge of the earth throughout the 19th century, serving as a guide for European explorers and fortune seekers. What are your thoughts on the richest king? Let us know in the comments below, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more.